Hi, everybody, and welcome to SciFi Vision for November 25th. And this is our last show before Thanksgiving, so hopefully you all have a good holiday if you're in the U.S. and celebrate that this week. We have 2 episodes of Pluribus and then 2 episodes of Talamasca, the ones we went over last night, the last 2. And then The Last Frontier, if Karen has seen it. It sounds like maybe she hasn't, so we might hold off on that. I'm not sure. But yeah, we'll do Pluribus first. But Karen will be along shortly. How are you doing?
I am good.
Good. I'm just trying to get my head to quit hurting. I got that nerve blocker that should have taken care of the migraines, and it did not work. I think I need a steroid. The numbing thing they gave me clearly didn't. It didn't make the back of my head numb. Let's just put it that way. It didn't last. So yeah, I've been kind of having a crappy day, but it's thankfully gone away enough. I can hopefully talk for a bit, and we should be okay. But welcome everybody who's listening. Is StreamYard working? I don't even see anybody. That's why I'm refreshing. StreamYard has been so screwed, but it's been mostly on my end, it's messed up. So I didn't know if it's because I'm wondering if that person it's showing is watching is probably me because I have the window open. So
well, we know Debbie was here to say hi.
Yes, we appreciate it, Debbie. I did at least fix the timing issue, so I should be able to schedule things at least. So that's a plus. But yeah, I guess while we're waiting for her, for Karen, what did you think of Pluribus? Did you like it still?
Oh, I still like it. It's definitely fun.
It's so weird though, but like in a good way.
Yeah,
Kind of
it really. I mean, I think the big thing to take from the show is really the question of, is this a good thing or is this a bad thing? I mean, it's, and I don't think there's a right answer. I think it depends on how everybody views it. And I think that's kind of the whole point that Vince Gilligan is going for is, it's entertaining, but it's also very thought provoking.
Yeah, because I mean, there's no war, there's no hunger, like everything's good, they think, but they don't maybe understand. Hey, Karen's living room, fake living room.
Hey, you all, everybody.
Hey, you all, everybody. I'm sorry she said that. That was the first thing.
I know. That's the first thing I thought of too. Can't get away from loss.
Yeah, it's always there. But yeah, I think it's good, but I think it's depressing in a way, but not necessarily in a bad way, because you're right. It is thought provoking and really makes you think about how much your individuality matters in the scope of things. And it makes you, I don't know, it makes me feel bad for her. And also, speaking of feeling bad for her, I'm with her on the ice hotel. That would not be my thing. I'd love to see the Northern Lights. I would not freeze my ass off for it. I can look at them on the internet. That's all I got to say about that. I would not do good in that cold. I don't know. What did you think, Karen? Did you like these last 2?
Yeah, I liked these 2 episodes. I mean, I like this show. I like these 2 episodes, and I thought, the end of episode. What episode is
5?
5?
Or sorry, 3. 3.
Yeah,
sorry,
3.
Episode 3. The end of episode 3, and then into episode 4 represent like a real turning point in Carol's relationship with the others, and Carol's like thinking about what tools she might have at her disposal. Whereas in the beginning of this episode, in the first part of episode 3, Carol really is at a dead end, and she's really, I think, despondent. And let's remember that it's only 3 days, and she has not really had time to mourn for Helen at all, right? And all these happy people are around all the time. So yeah, I like these 2. I liked where, when I watched episodes 1 and 2, I was like, this is interesting, but I'm not sure where this is going. And now I kind of like where it's going.
Yeah.
Where I think it might be going.
Yeah. Well, yeah, we don't know for sure. We're guessing. Hey, Bill. But we start out and we see this ice hotel, which I assume is really probably the ice hotel, because I know that like there really is one of them. I think it is in Norway. I'm not 100% sure, but I'm guessing this is probably really the ice hotel that was over there. But yeah, we get I guess a look into their relationship, and at first it seems like they're not happy, and then I feel like it's not that they're not happy. She just complains a lot, and I think it's kind of showing it because like this is when she was her happiest, I guess, to her right now. It's
Yeah,
like
I mean,
kind of the way the relationship
she's a
was.
cynic.
She is.
Plain and simple. She is not happy with anything. She loves
No,
Helen, but
I'd be
she is
complaining too.
not happy to be freezing her ass off, literally.
Yeah, no, I'm with Helen, or I'm with Carol on that. But it looks really beautiful.
Well, it was kind of like, at the end of the scene, you see that Carol really does see and appreciate the Northern Lights. Like, she's not a person who is not capable of enjoying something.
Right. I love how she's like, it looks like a screensaver. It kind of does. After she said that, I started laughing because she's not wrong.
Yeah. I mean, you do see there's something under there. And did you guys catch in this scene the comment she makes about I could have saved 100,000 grand freezing my eggs and just come here? Like, so they wanted to have children and never had them.
That was my question. I wasn't sure if she was talking about that or that was in reference to that joke that guy made about the yolk and stuff. Because he was saying that thing in, I don't know, whatever language they speak there about eggs. So I wasn't entirely sure. Yeah. But I mean, it could be that they were going to have, that makes sense too. I don't know. But yeah, she was not happy. And yes, I did catch that. I mean, they even say later in the next episode, when she's talking to that man and they're telling her, what Helen thought about her book and that, he says, she likes the lifestyle that you gave her. So she appreciated it and they were able to, go wherever they wanted and enjoy it. But maybe Carol didn't appreciate it as much, it sounds like. I don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah, at least we get a little bit more into their relationship.
Yeah. Which I think like maybe helps us later in these two episodes where, Helen is later demanding that. So we've been talking about, are these people called the aliens? What are they called? The Apple press materials call them the others. Like everyone who's not Carol, they call the others. I'm not sure I can go with that.
Carol, Helen, and the others. Got it.
Others.
Yeah, at least we don't got to remember their names then. No.
I know, but to me, the others are from Lost.
Yeah.
No, yeah, you're right. You're right.
But yeah, I mean, maybe this informs how we feel when Helen later says, like, you don't get to talk about Helen. Like, stop talking about Helen.
Yeah. Yeah, they did make a point. I think it was in the first episode or one of the first ones saying that, like, when she died or before she died, she like transferred all her memories over. Yeah. So she's not alive, but they still know everything about Carol through that, which I can understand that. That's the thing. Like, I feel like she might have been a little more receptive and listening a little better if they would quit using Helen, because she is trying to grieve and she can't grieve. She's like alone, but at the same time, she's not alone and can't be alone. So yeah, I can see that it's definitely, for good reason, a sore spot, and they are making it worse with some of the things they're saying, trying to make it better, but they're making it worse.
Mm-hmm.
But as much as in the last episode, she had seemed to have, for quite a certain point, was like unwilling to accept it. She sort of gave up at the end of the last episode because she wanted on the plane. So as much as she wants to fight it, she doesn't want to be completely alone either. Which I think is important because I feel like that took her a lot to do that, to get back on this plane, although she's still sitting alone, but she's at least accepted it a little bit. Accepted, I guess that's the way it is. Not that she's going to let it stay that way, but at least has gotten over it a little bit. Maybe that's the wrong wording, but is becoming more accustomed to it, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, she still refuses to sit in first class, right? She'll only sit in the way back of the plane. But
I like the way she continues to test the waters. It's like she gets an idea and she's like, "Ooh, let's see what happens with it." I mean, especially with the whole grenade scene.
Yeah.
Yeah, that didn't go as she expected, clearly.
That was great.
Well, and she took Zosia back, right? Like the last thing we saw at the end of episode 2 was her stopping Air Force One. Now we see that she and Zosia are back on the original plane, not on Air Force One, right?
Right.
So she saved her from the
I didn't even think about that.
Playboy. She wanted Zosia to come back. Whether it's because she didn't want to put Zosia in that position that we talked about last week, or whether she just kind of is like getting used to having Zosia around as her, I don't know. I don't want to say friend, but her
concierge.
Yeah,
That's what
concierge. Yeah.
I think part of it, like I said, I personally think she didn't want to be alone. I think as much as she's grieving and wants them to leave, at the same time, she doesn't want them to leave. She wants somebody. She'd like a normal human, but it's not happening. So, she'll take what she can get. And then she goes off and tries to contact one of the people that are like her, but that doesn't speak English. I guess she has I guess she can speak a tiny bit of Spanish, at least. So she's
enough to curse back at him.
Yeah, that was funny. And I kind of thought too, and I know we see the other side of that, but I'm guessing whenever she did that, it sort of made him realize, wait, this isn't one of the others, as we're calling them. That it had to be, a normal person that did that, because they'd never do that. They're too perfect. I guess we'll see how that goes.
I love this, right? I love that Carol was really kind of defeated and giving up at the end of last week. And now she's like, wait, what about all those other people? And
yeah, I can't remember. What was it that made her pick this guy to contact? Because because
he's the only one. He's the only one that has not talked to them at all.
Oh, okay.
He's the one they didn't know about at first, and then they found out about him, but he refuses any contact. Like, he's got himself barricaded, and
so
he's like Carol. I think Carol was really disappointed at all these people who were totally like gallivanting around with their concierges and like really kind of rather enjoying it, think it was a good idea. And I think she thinks maybe this guy is a little more like her.
I agree.
They're not able to force themselves as much on him because he's, separated from them.
He's inaccessible.
But he's inaccessible, which I do want to talk about, but we'll wait till we get to the next episode. So she ends up swearing at him because he won't answer the phone, or won't stay on the phone, I should say. Although why she didn't just ask her what the number is so she could dial, that was beyond me, because she keeps giving it back to her. I thought that was funny. So then they come back and she gives her mail, as well as a box that I think we kind of figured was from Helen from before she died. She had sent for this, which it ends up being a massage wand thing. I don't even know what it says. Relief.
It's a Theragun. It's a Theragun.
Oh, it's a Theragun. Oh, those things hurt. At least when I tried one, when I was at physical therapy, I had them tried on me. It hurt. Maybe, I don't know if they didn't do it right or not, but it hurt. I didn't like it.
Yeah.
I didn't realize that's what that was. The one they had looked a little different, but so it's, and then Zosia goes on to explain that she knew she was stressed and that she liked the one they tried somewhere or another, and that she got it for her, and she thought this would make her happy. I could see it not really making her happy when she's in the middle of grieving. Like, it's
that's the thing. The collective, they don't get it. They're all happy and shit, and everything's perfect and peaceful and whatnot, but they don't get it.
Yeah. I think maybe if it had been like a month later or something, she maybe would have appreciated it, but a couple days after she died, no.
I mean, I think if Zosia didn't show that she knew what it was before Carol knew what it was, like, I think that really took the joy out of it.
Oh, that's true.
Zosia's like, we think you'll really enjoy what's inside that box. Like, I think that really took away like the intimacy of like Helen noticing something Carol liked and going out of her way to buy it and buy the version that Carol preferred. I think
now it doesn't feel like it's from her, even though it is. That makes sense. I hadn't thought about it.
I think Zosia like robbed her of this like last little bit of intimacy she could have with this person who is gone now. And I think that's one reason why she like doesn't want them to like she's like, stop talking about Helen. Helen's off limits. You can't like use Helen. I mean,
Yeah,
it's
it has to be
ridiculous.
something
It's like
first.
they'll never be able to do it, but I think it's like, I think it like diminishes their relationship in some way.
Yeah, well, I think she wants to keep her to herself for right now. Is kind of where she's.
Or always like your intimacy with your spouse is really just between the two of you, right? And now literally every single person on earth like knows every detail of their relationship and every feeling that Helen had, and we're later going to learn that they know things that Carol doesn't know.
Yeah, and that I agree. That would sour it. It is, and I think that if they would quit, trying to use her, that maybe they'd be doing a little bit better, because it's definitely not working what they're trying using her. So she's, like we said, she's pissed off about that, and then she watches some more Golden Girls, which I love.
So and then the power goes out. Like, what the hell?
Power goes out.
Sorry, we didn't mean.
First they bring her breakfast. First they do the whole thing with the grocery store. First they bring her breakfast. She gets pissed again because she wants to be independent, and she misses her farmer's market grocery store. And I was surprised, like when she walked in, it's empty. I'm like, wait, what? Like, why is it? And I get what they're saying. Like, why do they need a grocery store? They're just going to distribute everything and be fair and everything else, so they don't need a grocery store. And they're like, well, we can get you whatever you want. Why would you need a grocery store? And for her, it's more about, she wants that independence. She doesn't want them doing things for her. And she's like, give me my damn grocery store back. And I think it's funny because they agree to do it like instantly, right? Because they'll do anything she asks to make her happy.
Yeah, she was like, so what, by like Friday? They're like, no, right now.
Yeah, we'll go give it to you now. But it's funny and ironic in the sense that she's like, I don't want you doing anything for me. And then like they go crazy doing this whole elaborate thing, right? Like if she had just let them make her breakfast, it would have been less work than what she got, which I think is funny because I don't think that that's quite the way she intended it. I don't think she thought it through.
Well, no.
She probably wouldn't have. But yeah, they bring the grocery store back, everybody around, and I don't know. At least she got her food, I guess. She needs to eat, so it's back. And yeah, then later the power goes out everywhere. Sorry, go ahead. What, Karen?
No, go ahead. Go ahead. Later the power goes out everywhere, except they're going to keep it on Carol's little street, right?
Yeah. And they say they don't need the power because they don't work at night unless it's, a place that has to be open. They sleep. Why would they need power? And I'm thinking, what if you got to go to the bathroom or something and you need a light, I don't know about that. But yeah, they give her power and they turn their power off everywhere else, which is really kind of weird. I can understand she'd be a little creeped out. She's doing some more drinking, watching some more Golden Girls. And then Zoja comes over to talk to her and she offers her some alcohol. And instead of I don't know what her reasoning was to offer her alcohol. I think it was maybe to learn a little more about them, maybe. But it's like she didn't even take it for the olive branch that it could have been. Instead, she starts annoying the shit out of her, telling her everything there is to know about the vodka she has. So that didn't quite go as planned. But also, of course, the point was she brought the grenade because she had said earlier in the episode something like, you want to give me anything? I forget exactly what she said, but basically give me a grenade because this week's been so awful. That's the only thing that could make it better. And Zoja figured that she was being sarcastic, but yet she still did it because they can't. It seems like it's not just they give her what they want, she wants. It seems like they can't tell her no either, which we find out more about later. But yeah, she's got a grenade. She fools around with it. I guess she thought it would be fake.
I mean, did you guys? So leading up to that, before the grenade, so Helen asked for the grenade really out of like total frustration, right? Like leading up to that, do you guys think it's like they keep trying to please Carol and they'll be like, oh, we can recreate that beautiful breakfast you and Helen had together in like blah, blah hotel, wherever, right? Or we can like, and they think they're so eager to please
that they don't see they're hurting her more.
Right.
They are trying, to be fair. They're not trying to hurt her.
See, I know. Yeah, I know. But that's the thing. Like that's the thing. When she says, leave me alone, that's the one thing they don't actually try to do.
Yeah, I know. Right. Yeah, it's like, leave me alone. Don't give me anything. Just let me be. And
And
they don't listen.
it also is like it's invasive and offensive, kind of, to be like, oh, we can make you, again, they're going into like Helen's memories to like try to please Carol, which only is making her angrier and making it all worse, right? And
yeah.
I mean, there's a part. So I know Vince Gilligan says he wrote all this before ChatGPT came out, but there's an element that really feels like AI, which like, always
like,
is
the stupid answers that it's like so literal and it doesn't quite get it.
I don't mean that. I mean that it will give you like AI is designed to also be like eager to please, to try to give you the answer that you want, right? And like AI, and to be like your friend. And I mean, I don't really use it, but the cautionary things we hear about AI is that, the way it's a product that is being sold to you, and it's designed to, that it has this element of trying to please you and come up with the answer that you want. And like, I don't know, they feel a little bit like AI robots to me.
Yeah, they kind of do. But I also think that they, like I said, to me, it makes me, when you say that, it makes me think about how, I don't know, I've used it to try to help me install some of the stuff on my computer. And I end up swearing at the damn thing because it doesn't listen. It doesn't remember things. Like, it's not like people seem to think that it's actually as helpful as it is. And it's like, you're like, no, stop it. And it, yeah. And I said, it takes things very, very literally, because people don't understand that as much as it thinks like a computer. So it's not reasoning like a person does. So like, but for a grenade, it brings her a grenade. It doesn't understand the sarcasm. I'm just saying, it makes me think of that.
Well, she did say that she thought she might have been sarcastic, but she was erring on the side of caution. But it's like she said, she's like, if I asked for an atom bomb, would you bring me that? And they're like, we would recommend against it, but if you really wanted it, we would.
Yeah, I don't think they can say no. Bill says all limits will be tested. Carol will leave no stones unturned. I agree. She's doing everything. I think that she can to figure things out. And this is where he says Zosha's my favorite character. Golden Child says thinks it's AI as well. I do see that element that I hadn't really picked up on until you said that, but I do kind of see that. And they're definitely robotic.
But it also, to me, is like really offensive that like, so they want to convert Carol somehow, and they want Carol to like agree with them and see that this is a better way. And like, they think they can buy her off with like a great breakfast and a expensive bottle of vodka. And that like, she's like, oh yeah, you know what? I don't need my free will. I'll just take this great vodka instead. Right. Like, it's a little like,
insulting. Yeah.
It is, I mean, I guess they didn't encounter any resistance taking over the other people, or maybe they did. Like the 800, like almost 1 billion people are dead, and we don't really know like what happened that many people died, right?
I assume it's what happened to Helen, but you're right, we don't really know.
Well, no, that. I mean, no, some of those people when they were taking over, I mean, they were in airplanes or cars, or I mean.
Yeah,
but I assume some of them was like Helen, but yeah, she is definitely testing them to try to learn more about them, learn what they will and won't do. I think they'll do anything she asks. I think that's the idea.
Golden Child, I marked your first post for discussion. It's there. I put a star on it so we would come back to it.
Oh, about the crickets, yeah.
Oh, the crickets.
We just scrolled past it a little bit. But it's there in our queue for discussion. I think that I'm kind of, I saw a discussion, it was in the comments on Vulture, about like, if the collective now has the knowledge of everyone, like, and like, what about the many, many horrible people and serial killers and pedophiles and like other people that have been taken over? Like, what does that do to the collective mind? Or are they just able to be, does the virus just overpower them? Or are they among the 800,000 people that were just 800 million people that just like didn't make it somehow?
Yeah. They don't kind of show that other side of it. I wonder if they ever will. Do you think they will? I mean, it could go either way, but it does make you wonder, like, not everybody, like, yes, overall, I think probably the majority of the world would like world peace and people to be happy, but not everybody. but I don't know if it's like a majority thing, or it's like they're so happy that they don't care anymore.
Well, I mean, it's just it. I mean, there's no free. I mean, except for Carol and the handful that didn't, that are immune, we'll call it. There's no free will. It's not. There's no point anymore. Like there's no.
But they don't realize that. I think that's the whole thing, is they think they're happy. They don't know any better because they're part of it now.
Well, there's no more. Is there any happy? There's a logic. There's a prevailing logic that things better.
I
but
happy.
I don't know that I see any. I don't know that I see any personality or happy or unhappy. There's like a.
No, Zoja's calling it happy. I'm just saying it like she's saying they're happy. But you're right. They're not really happy. They're just. They are.
Content.
What else to say that?
They just are. That's
So while we're talking about what we're wondering, Golden Child want to know why we haven't heard crickets at night in the sky and birds in the sky, etc.
I hadn't thought of that.
I've never been to Albuquerque. Right. Are there crickets there? But we should hear birds. And we should see. We don't see like
all the animals go, but the birds that are and the animals that are not domesticated should be there. So
every single person's dog and cat should be running around the streets, and like the animals in the zoo and the farm animals that are to be liberated, right? And like
they liberated all the animals, so we should at least see them.
Yeah, I mean, I don't mind the fact they liberated all the animals. That part's kind of cool, but you don't get to see them. So I don't know.
But I mean, culturally, we see these night scenes and we don't hear. Maybe they just didn't put in background noise of crickets. I don't know.
I mean, that's probably what it is.
Yeah, it's probably just they didn't think about doing that or adding that. I also think maybe they might not. And I could be wrong. I'd ask Vince Gilligan if we could, but it could also be that they're leaving those kind of things out just to give it a more like weird, otherworldly, not right feeling too. Like you don't necessarily know what it is, but something's missing, and just we hadn't necessarily thought about what it is,
Yeah.
Because that definitely would be strange for it to be that quiet.
I've also seen people on the internet saying you're now presented with like the entire knowledge of all humanity. And I know Carol's grieving, but how can she resist being like, okay, who really killed JFK? Okay, like what really is up with like, is Elon Musk in there? Who's
the Epstein files?
Yeah, what's in the Epstein files, right? Like how could you resist? We might get a scene of Carol asking all of that. That would be fun.
Yeah, maybe one.
That would be kind of fun.
Grieving and she's not worried about it, but that would be funny. I agree. Yeah. Let's see. Golden Child says it better not be a simulation. I don't think it is, but that would be. That would be interesting though if it ended up.
No, it wouldn't.
Was, but I said interesting. I didn't say good. I said interesting. I don't want that to happen. I just could like the way after reading that, I'm thinking I could see that, but I don't want it to be that. That would be funny. But anyway, at any rate, she's like messing around with the grenade and playing around with it, and she's like, "What are you doing?" And then she looks.
By the way, Jamie, that was a great screen grab of the look she made when she was like, "Huh."
Yeah, like what is this? And then she's like got this look like, oh shit, and Zoja jumps on top of her and throws it out the window, and it goes boom. I mean, obviously she doesn't want to hurt anybody. I mean, that was not her intent.
No,
it does not go like she intended. Let's see. So Zoja's going through everything that Carol should be while searching for the world's unanswered questions, mysteries. Yeah, they can figure everything out. I think right now she's just so busy grieving, she's not really thinking about some of the other things maybe that we're thinking about, and wondering.
I mean, do you think so? She's grieving intensely for Helen, but I sometimes feel like Carol's grieving for like the entirety of humanity also. Right?
I was just gonna say that.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. That's true. And it's only been 3 days. We have to remember that.
Yeah.
It's been 3 weeks for 4 weeks for us, but it's been 3 days for her. So she goes to the hospital. So I guess at the hospital, then they only have like key people. I mean, because they've got to have emergencies, right? And clearly there was somebody there to help, because I thought at first, like they can't, how like when she called about the grocery store, like everybody came running to help. Well, a hospital's not like that. They can't just like have a doctor home on call that comes in if somebody needs something. Like there has to be somebody's there for emergencies. So I'm kind of curious, what that's like, because the rest of the hospital is empty. So,
but didn't at some point in these 2 episodes they say they have beds full of people who like were injured in car accidents at the time they were taking, like there's beds and beds full of people who are injured.
Well, I guess they have no family that cares to see them because they're all talking to each other. So I guess they don't.
Oh, so the waiting room is empty. Yeah.
Yeah, that could be the case. I mean, I'm sure they don't have as many injuries maybe, but I would think they'd still have, issues. So this is that conversation where this guy is, she's asking him, what if I asked for an atom bomb? And he's like, we tried to talk you out of it, but yeah, we'd still give it to you. And she's like, even after all that, yep. Yeah, no need for a doctor, only for Carol and the other 11, 12 survivors. Yeah. But, I mean, they've still got to be working, right? I mean, I guess everybody, it's like one of those things, like everybody just takes, I guess, the job they need done. That's not really explained either, but it's like how she sees the mayor or whatever raking leaves. It's because there's got to be people working, right? There's still got to be people that are manufacturing things. So there could still be accidents, I would think. But that's not something that.
Yeah, except every single person who's put in there has the knowledge of how to use that machine and not like, is there human error anymore? Like there's no, like everybody has perfect knowledge and perfect attention to detail and nobody shows up to work overtired or drunk or preoccupied about the rent or right.
I mean, every other than the 12, everybody is literally the smartest person in the world.
Yeah.
I would still think you could potentially make mistakes, but I do see what you're saying. Like you wouldn't, like you're like the person who invented the machine. You know everything there is to possibly know about it. So
and you don't
have it themselves. That's true too. Like to some extent, they wouldn't necessarily even need that because you're right. They have the knowledge of all the doctors, of all the surgeons, of all the brain surgeons. They could probably any of them do brain surgery, really. I mean, maybe the hands wouldn't be dexterous.
Not on themselves, but
what? What'd you say?
On themselves? No need for doctors.
Maybe not on themselves, yeah. But also, I would think that you'd need muscle memory for certain things. Like I said, like brain surgery. I don't know that even if you knew how to do it, you could perform well if you're not used to it.
Or you would have that person's muscle memory too.
Oh, well, that's true. Yeah, you're right. They probably do. So they probably could figure it out. But I don't know what she gets out of this. The point that she gets out of this is that they'll do whatever she asks is kind of, I think,
this is a huge moment. This is like a huge revelation for her. Like she knew that they would do whatever she asked, but she didn't really get that they would do whatever she asked. And this is kind of a shocking moment. Like they will not kill a chicken. They will not kill any living creature, but they will give Carol the power to destroy like all living creatures on Earth. Like, is this a flaw in their system, or are they lying, or like would they like what is up here, right?
I think it's a flaw in the system.
I think it's a flaw, because they don't want to do it. I mean, because like he said, they try to talk her out of it, but in the end, they would.
And he tried to dance around it. His answer, Carol was like, "Answer me."
She's like, "We're not getting away with that."
Yeah.
1 second.
But this is like a moment where I know I also was like, oh, this show is getting good here now. This show that I wasn't sure what it was about, and I'm not sure.
I still don't know I know what it's about, but yeah.
Well, yeah. I gotta say, I feel like for me personally, I think at first I would kind of go with it and just be like, yeah, I want this and I want this and I want this, But I feel like it would get old really quick.
It would, but you think about the guy that wanted the Air Force One and he wanted sex with all the models and all that. Yeah, I think for a while you'd be like, bring me this. I want to go to the Taj Mahal. I want to go to Egypt. I want to, like, you could do anything you wanted, aside from have your own.
Oh, and you could visit all the areas that aren't usually allowed for tourists.
Yeah.
You know what? I am totally down with that for starters.
I think I'd do that. I think I'd take a week and go everywhere in the world and then complain, right?
Yeah.
They said she has at least a few weeks, right?
I guess
maybe not a flaw. She must conform and comply. Resistance.
But must she conform? But she doesn't really have. They want her to.
No, but I think eventually she will. I mean, eventually they're going to find out what it is that makes her different and figure out how to stop it. I mean, they've said that enough times.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
In which
she
case,
eventually
like
will have-
Air Force One guy, like
yeah,
I
they
don't
don't have to
know.
force it.
Well, let me finish. Air Force One guy, I don't know if he really is thinking it consciously, but he's kind of living like the man who only has 6 months left to live. Like they said within 6 months they're going to figure it out and assimilate you, right? And so he's like living it up. It's a little bit like a person who's condemned to death, or condemned to assimilate. Resistance is futile, but he can get away with it for a little while, right?
Yeah. Well, they don't have to worry about him either because he's not unhappy. It's people like her that don't accept it that are the problem.
No, but what Jamie, what Karen is saying is, if they figure it out in 6 months and they assimilate him into the collective, then right now he's just having the time of his life for the next 6 weeks.
Yeah, and that's why I'm saying I'd probably take a week and do that. I mean, I'd like to think I would. I don't know.
Yeah. Oh, and here he is. Now we meet. What's his name? Manu.
I don't remember that much.
The Paraguayan guy. Manusos.
Yeah, I was gonna say, let me look up the episode. This is episode 4, right? It should tell us in the cast list. Just saying him all over and over.
Oh, thank you. Air Force One guy. Bill Chill reminds us.
Oh,
his name
that. Okay, yeah. Yeah,
So
that guy. I thought you meant. I meant from this episode. Who?
Yeah, no, we did.
Yeah, Manusos is this guy. Manusos. I don't know how to pronounce it, but we'll say Manusos. So yeah, we get to see it from this other guy's point of view, her making the phone calls and everything.
Which makes it even funnier because you can hear her slamming the phone.
Yeah, and him being like, huh? Like, what's going on? So now I have a big question for you guys. This guy is separated from them, yeah, because he's a storage unit manager. You're right, but he's separated from them. It seems like he was some kind of, I don't know. I assumed he was some kind of prepper. It's not outright said, but he's completely like.
He manages a self-storage unit facility.
Oh, that's right.
He's living inside.
You just said that.
Okay, yeah, I did. You're right. I told you I have a migraine.
And
because I was going to say, is it possible that he wasn't infected because he wasn't close enough to him? But yeah, you're right. I forgot that gate is in his personal gate. That's for the storage facility.
But he's locked it. It's his personal gate now.
Yeah, it is. Now. He's refusing to leave. But I would wonder if he could like wait out. Like if he went to one of the grocery store, if he makes a grocery store like her, he could go hoard food and stay there for a while, even if they figure out how to fix it and not let him in. Maybe they won't fight their way in.
He's eating dog currently.
He's eating dogs. He's almost out of food.
Yeah, well, he has to accept their help for food. He's got to eat at some point, which is what she finally accepted and realized they weren't going to poison her.
He didn't accept any food from them in this episode?
No, I said she has. She eventually started eating what they gave her because otherwise she would have been. Well, I guess she could have went a couple days, but she eventually did accept it. Like she was at one point eating, I don't remember what, and like one of the first 2 episodes, she finally ate what they were giving her, like at dinner when they were at that big dinner. I think she ate some of it, didn't she?
Yeah, I don't think Carol has ever refused to eat what they gave her. I don't think Carol eats well. Her fridge only has olives in it to begin with. She's not a person who is concerned about her diet. I don't feel like she ever refused their food.
Just their special food.
What's interesting here to me is Manosos refusing their food the same way Carol refuses their help because he doesn't want anything to do with them? Or is it because he does, like, we saw that this virus was passed partially by licking donuts and by kissing people. And, you know, I didn't think of it till Jamie just said it. Has he not been exposed?
Yeah, I'm assuming that he's immune like her, but there is.
No, he has to be, but it was airborne at the end.
Was it?
Yeah.
You remember the plane? You don't remember Helen's like the planes in the sky? She's like, I wonder what they're doing.
Oh, okay, yeah.
They were crop dusting the human population.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
All over the world.
I think it would have been interesting though if he had been like a prepper. That could have been a cool storyline where he just wasn't infected because he stayed away from everybody. But that is not to be, I guess.
Kelly says he wishes a prepper had owned one of the storage units so he could find more food.
Yeah, something other than dog food. Look, to be fair, she didn't accept it at the beginning. I mean, remember when she poured the water out, when she gave her a bottle of water? She was afraid of it too.
She wasn't afraid of it. I think Carol was. It was a big FU when she poured out that.
Yeah,
bottle.
well, that too. Before storms hit, animals often flee. I wonder if the animals avoided the infected humans. That's interesting. I don't know. They just said about them being in the streets, and then they kind of never touched on it again. They sort of forgot about it, I guess.
I mean, you skipped Bill's previous. Well, you just didn't get to it. This is interesting. Like Mano says, he's starving soon. He will hunt soon. Maybe then we'll finally see where the animals went. Yeah, I mean, and that relates back to a conversation about last episode about cooking the lobster, and they said they wouldn't. Zoja was telling Mr. Diabate they won't kill any animals. They said, well, what if I catch my own lobster? Would you cook it for me? And they said yes. Yeah. Like they won't stop. They didn't say they would stop him from catching a lobster or killing.
They just won't help him.
Yeah.
I don't want to see them kill animals, though. I like her idea of just getting a grocery store next door and you can go get what you want. That works for me.
You know, all your animal products you eat were killed, right?
Yes, I know that, but I don't have to be the one to kill them, so I ain't gonna think about it. If I was a vegetarian, I would probably die because I'm too picky of an eater. I can't.
You would starve. Amy, you would starve to death.
I would. I'm way too picky. So yeah. So this is where he's found dog food in one of the
storage units.
Yeah,
I have to say, I don't know if you guys
hard to watch. Like I know it's not real, but it's like, oh yeah, that was hard to watch.
Actually, I thought immediately of The Walking Dead when Carl ate the dog food. Carl like opened the can of dog food and started to eat it, and Rick smacked it out of his hand and was like, "We're not eating dog food." And Carl was like, "Wait, what? Remember that?" That's what I thought of.
Yeah, vaguely. Yeah, it's food. It's edible. It's not good, but it's so yeah. Plants will be eaten. We will survive. Yeah, I'd probably starve a bit first. Then I'd probably have to eat something. But all right.
So you guys have a storage unit, but when I go to my storage unit, there are signs everywhere that say like, "Do not put any food. No food allowed in the storage units."
They don't even let them put like canned food in that. That's sort of surprising.
They're really concerned about vermin coming into the storage.
Yeah, I never really thought about it. I more know that they tell people they can't live in it because I remember we knew somebody before who supposedly was, I don't know if you remember, Karen, supposedly was living in a storage unit.
Oh yeah.
I don't know if that was really all true, but you're willing to eat the sausage but never know how it's made. Yeah, as long as I don't have to see the animals be killed, I'm good. Somebody else is going to eat it. I'm like remember Phoebe and Joey? Remember that conversation? Oh, yeah. It's like, well, if I don't eat it, then those animals are going to be dead whether I eat them or not. That's the way I look at it. Maybe that's not the best way to look at it, but that's the way I look at it. Yeah, it's true. All right. So he does write down her name, or tries to write down what he thinks her name is. I don't know what Turca means. I thought that was her last name, but it says S. Turca.
Well, because he can't, like, she said, I'm Carol Sturka, but I think in Spanish, he can't, that's not a.
Yeah, I get what you're saying. I'm curious, though, if that has some meaning that's, because it would be funny if, like, that word had a Spanish meaning and it was like a double entendre, but it doesn't. It's not putting anything out.
I mean, I don't know if he's trying to write her last name or.
Yes, I think he is. I agree.
Yeah.
So yeah, he's trying to figure out. So now he's interested because he knows there's somebody else like him, which he didn't realize. I'm surprised they didn't tell him about Carol. Like they told Carol about that.
They haven't talked to him.
Oh, that's right. He completely locked them out, huh? I forgot about that. Okay. That's fair. All right. So she goes back to the hospital, sees her poor car that's been beat up by the explosion. And she gets pissed off that they are fixing her house without her permission.
You forgot to mention that she took the cop car. I would have turned the car.
I didn't take a picture of it. Yeah, I was going fast to get the picture. Yeah, she uses the cop car because she doesn't have a car that's in good shape.
And then, oh my God, how condescending was that when Zoja's like telling her how to use the walkie-talkie? It's like, I know how to use the damn thing. Maybe I don't want to talk to you.
Yeah.
It wasn't Zoja, actually. It was somebody
else. I just looked up what Turca means in Spanish. So if you go back, he wrote Carol S. Turca. So S, like, that's the conjugate of the verb to be. Carol is Turca. So apparently turca is like a colloquial term for like dick in Spanish. Like dick, I think is what he's written there.
Is she a dick? That's funny.
Or Carol's Turk. It could mean Carol's Turkish, but I think it means Carol's a dick.
Yeah,
Like,
that's funny.
That's funny.
But yeah, she gave her also the thing that is condescending is she does ask her if she wants her car back and says, we can even take the breathalyzer or whatever thing out. Like that was kind of not so nice. But anyway, she's pissed they're fixing her really cool looking house. I like that house.
She's pissed she's not pissed. She's pissed
they went in and they're
out.
That they're taking care of it without her permission.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. I didn't get it out. And that they're inside her house. And they're like, you told us we could. We asked you when you were not paying attention. And you went, uh-huh. That's basically what they say. Right? And she talks to this guy who she tells to come in the house with her so she can talk to him. But that's after. First, she does
that guy. That guy's in everything.
Yeah.
What's that guy's name?
I don't know. In this, it is... Do they have him listed on here? They do not. Larry.
I was going to say,
Yeah. So where'd it go? So first, before she invites him in or before he comes in, she starts writing her murder board of clues. Eager to please, they would give me an A-bomb, can't kill, not a fly, don't play faves, like all jerks are the same, trying to change me, and weirdly honest. And that's what she's trying to figure out in these scenes. Are they always honest? And that's why she starts asking them about what her wife thought about her book. I get the feeling that she probably knew her wife didn't like it all that much, because I think that was the point, to get them to lie, to see if they'd lie or not. And whereas he didn't want to tell her, he does tell her everything.
Well, she definitely was surprised by her unpublished novel.
Oh, some of it, yeah. She was surprised by some of the comments. Which, I mean, he didn't seem like he wanted to tell her, but I think it proves they can't say no, regardless of what they think is right. So yeah, he basically says she did not like her writing, especially her unpublished novel. And Carol, of course, gets upset over this, but she got what she wanted, and now she knows that they can't lie.
I think she was disappointed. There's Jeff Hiller. There he is. His name is Jeff Hiller. I looked him up while we were not paying attention. He's from 30 Rock, I think is how a lot of people know him, from 30 Rock. He's an Emmy winner. He won an Emmy for Somebody Somewhere. He was in he's been in like a couple episodes of like every show you've ever watched, right? He's in like everything. But I feel like he was most recently in American Horror Stories, actually, right?
That's where I saw him last.
Thing Under the Bed, the episode about he was the nurse in the Under the Bed episode, right?
Yes. I knew I just saw him in something.
Yeah. I forgot what I was going to say about Carol. About like learning how Helen thought about her books and everything. I mean, I think that I
think she was hurt, but
I think she was hurt. And then Zosia tries to spin it like, well, it made you happy, and like clearly this work provided them with the financial ability to like go to the Ice Hotel, right? Like this best-selling work. But I think like it shows again how like
they have all this intimate knowledge that she shouldn't have. Like that was something private that they're sharing.
What I was going to say was, but it shows that they can't understand the nuances of not telling a person things that might hurt them or that they don't need to know. Like if you told me that about your wife, Jamie, if you told me that about your wife, Jamie, I wouldn't then go and repeat it and be like, this is what Jamie thinks of your book, right? Because you know it would hurt that person. And Zosia just doesn't know that. See, I thought he seemed like he didn't want to tell her, that he told her because she sort of made him answer. So I think to some extent they knew it would upset her. I mean, maybe not understanding it all the way, but I think they knew it wasn't a happy thing. I think they
definitely I will say this, they definitely understand that it would make her upset, because he did try and dance around it. He did try and say, oh, you said Helen's off limits, so I can't answer that. And she's like, oh, well, just for this, And he goes, she loved you very much. And she's like, what I asked.
Yeah.
But they also obviously don't, like, that is part of the thing too. Like she was saying, everybody's, even jerks are just as important. Like they're saying your book is as good as Shakespeare. Like they don't put one thing above something else. I think just like they can't make a decision.
Well, I think his explanation of it was kind of interesting because he's like,
part of you, yeah.
For one, he's like, we have the entire planet collective, except for the 12 of you. So for one person's treasure isn't necessarily another person's treasure, So like he talks about that woman in Montana or whatever the hell he says, and she's like, "Oh, that annoying woman," da da da. And he's like, "Yeah, well, your book saved her life. Like she was, hated herself, hated her life, and your book really changed her life."
Yeah, so to her, it was everything, and they have
exactly.
that.
So to her, it was better than Romeo and Juliet.
Yeah, so that is an interesting way to look at it.
Yeah.
He does. The point is, he does tell her what she asks, even though it kind of sucks. He seemed like, I don't know. I thought he seemed like he was a little sympathetic after he did it. So I think they do have a little bit of knowledge of that. Maybe they just don't understand it quite to that extent, but I think they know that it's hurtful. All right, so she goes to the hospital to see Zosia, and she's nice to her. And then I think she gets the idea from looking at her
IV bag.
Yeah, IV bag. I was going to say injection, IV bag. Oh, and this is where she says, can it be reversed? And she, by her answer or her non-answer, I should say, she knows that there is a possibility to reverse it, or at least not that there's not any possibility at any rate. So therefore there is a possibility. But she won't tell her, that did surprise me because she outright says, I can't tell you. So I don't know if the answer was more, I don't really have an answer, more so than it was, I can't tell you, because it seems like if she keeps going, they have to tell her, right?
Well,
it was a little unclear on that.
Well, see, the thing is, like Carol said, if the answer was no, that's what you would have said.
Yeah. But I wonder, is it more like I don't understand or I don't know, because otherwise
no, there's a way to reverse it.
Right, I'm sure there is. I'm just wondering if she couldn't have forced the answer out of her by continuing to ask her and saying, you will tell me, because it's just like when she told them to back up, like to some extent they all listen.
Yeah.
So
well, I mean, that leads to where we're going next. I mean, that.
Right. No, I just was curious if she could have forced it out of her in a normal, just conversation way, but maybe not. I don't know. So this is where she gets the idea. She's reading there. It's thiopentyl sodium. Yeah, it's for anesthesia. I'm not sure exactly. I guess it was just to like kind of let down her defenses, I guess. I mean, I was thinking, why don't you just make like a truth serum type thing? Although I don't know if
that's essentially what this is.
Is it? Okay. Well, I've never heard of.
I mean, so first of all, there's no such thing as a truth serum.
I was going to say, I don't know if that actually exists.
All a truth serum really is something that relaxes you to the point where your mind, I mean, in some cases, alcohol is a truth serum, because people love to talk when they're drunk.
Yeah.
It reduces your inhibitions.
Thank you. I was just going to say that same exact thing.
Yeah, it does. So she gets the drugs. I love that she's like, hey, give me some heroin. You can't say no. And they didn't
cover.
Yeah, and it was like, then she goes and dumps it down the toilet. I figured
they're like, don't you remember what happened last time? She's like,
not your choice. And then she dumps it down the toilet. Yeah, so they once again gave what she asked for. But so she administers a drug to herself, watches the video back of what happened, knows that she doesn't remember any of it or was in control of herself, I guess is the idea. So she decides that she is going to give it to Zosia.
Well, let's hold on a minute and let's talk a little more about that video. That was such a great video.
Was hilarious.
It was.
That was so much fun. And the best part is when she's like, "And why does Zosia have to be so fuckable?" And she's like, "Okay, that's enough of that."
I forgot about that. That was funny. Okay. Yeah. Sorry. Yeah, that was funny. So she knows that it works is the point. She goes to see Zosia. She sticks it in her IV, and then she takes her outside and she starts asking her what it is she can do to try to reverse it. And okay, let's see. alcohol is often called spirits because they let other entities control your thoughts.
Ah.
Interesting. Yeah, alcohol can definitely loosen your tongue a bit. So she starts plying her with questions, trying to get an answer. She ends up handcuffing herself to Zoja when the others start coming over to stop her. And then I didn't quite get why, but she starts having a heart attack. And they
Because
have
somebody who's untrained gave her heroin. Maybe that's why.
she didn't give her the heroin. She gave her the whatever it was, the stuff that made her calm, as we just discussed. The heroin she dumped down the toilet. That was just cover.
All right, whatever it is that she gave her, she's not a doctor. She doesn't know what she's doing, and Zoja is already like severely injured from the grenade.
Yeah, that's true too.
It's a terrible, terrible thing.
Oh, it's
that
definitely
Carol
a
did
terrible
to her.
thing. Yeah, but I think she also kind of like did it to herself, so she thought that made it safe, which it doesn't. I'm not condoning what she did, but at least she did give it to herself first.
No, she didn't give it to herself to see if it was safe. She gave it to
No,
herself.
I know she didn't, but I mean, she did give it to herself. She knows it didn't kill her, so she probably thinks it's safe. Not that was why she did it, but either way, she starts having a heart attack, and they're all like crying and upset because she's trying to get the information out of her. She does let them help her, lets them help Zoja, but we don't get to see if she wakes up or what happens. It ends there on a little bit of a cliffhanger as they try to revive her. The end. So yeah, it was a good episode. I want to see more. I didn't like it ended there.
Well,
Yeah.
it was, and the way it ended was really abrupt because it like cut Carol off mid sentence the way they did it, which I thought was kind of interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we kind of skipped over the part of the hospital visit, the part where, she's asking Zoja all these questions, and Zoja says, I can't really tell you, when Carol says, like, will it be, is it reversed? That whole sequence there. And Zoja's kind of like, don't worry about it. Once you're assimilated, you'll understand everything. You'll be fine. And Carol talks about being sent to conversion therapy camp. And
I forgot about that. Yeah.
Like,
sorry, I went through.
I think it was in like the South somewhere, in like Alabama or Tennessee or something, right? And like they sent her there, and Carol says, like, they're the worst people ever, and they were like, so they smiled all the time, just like you do.
Yeah.
And I thought it was like an amazing scene where like I mean, I thought it was an incredible like comparison that Carol makes, and it's really it's really kind of it's really kind of true, right? That like, what really is the difference between these people saying like, you're wrong, Carol, just listen to us, it'll be fine, just submit, just change the way you think about this, right? I thought that was an incredible scene.
It was. I had forgotten about that. You're right.
And for Carol, like digging up some of the most painful memories that she could possibly have, right? To make this comparison. I loved that scene.
Yeah. Yeah. And she's like, what you're doing is just as hard, that they're still hurting her in the same way. And I don't think they quite see it like that. They don't get it, Where did my mouse disappear? Bill says individualism, a philosophy and social concept that emphasizes the moral worth, autonomy, and freedom of the individual over the collective group. Well, that's definitely, I think, the crux of the show, right? Is that she doesn't want to be part of this group. But we do not know what happened. Who knows? Maybe Zoja will die. I mean, in the scheme of things, they're all the same person, so it doesn't really matter either way,
Yeah.
Other than the fact she would blame herself and be at fault. But I mean, in the scheme of like the story and us watching it, it doesn't really matter.
Yeah. So I noted somewhere that Vince Gilligan wrote the first 2 episodes, but now these couple episodes have been written by others. This particular episode 4, apparently he brought over a couple of writers from Better Call Saul that are working on this with him. And so I don't I didn't watch it, and I don't know all those writers, but some of them are working with him, and he didn't necessarily write all these two or all of these two, and he didn't write this one.
Yep.
So,
yeah, but it's an interesting show. I mean, it's definitely different than anything we've seen, I think.
Yeah.
I mean, like you can see it draws, inspiration from some different things, but it's very, very different, which I think is what makes it cool.
Yeah.
So yeah, well, I guess we'll have to wait till next week to find out what happens.
Yeah.
Multiple writers. Look, to be fair, most shows I think usually have separate writers' room, unless it's like it kind of depends on the type of series it is. I think.
Yeah.
A lot of them do.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. All right. Well, let's. What else? We got Talamasca to do quickly.
All right.
We don't got to debate it too long. Let me open up the.
Well, it was the finale.
It was the finale.
Right. No, we can talk about it. I just mean, oh, that's right. You watching it? No, you're not watching this. Why do
AJ's watching it.
You are watching this. Okay.
Yes.
Okay, never mind. That was why I was gonna say, why are we? I forgot you're watching it.
I mean, I
was thinking you refused to watch it, but that was something else I was thinking of.
No, that was the Mayfair Witches.
Yeah, that was the Mayfair Witches. Hold on. I hate when it does that. It doesn't want to load the right thing. Talamasca. There we go.
I see your comment, Bill Chill. We all love Stephen Moffat's episodes of Doctor Who.
Yes. All righty. All right. So yeah, we could talk about Doctor Who for a long time, and we'll never get through.
Yeah.
We'll never get through Talamasca. That's why I'm kind of like, So Talamasca. If you guys want to see our deep dive, of course, you can watch our live from yesterday. We'll do more of a review now, but let's start with AJ. What did you think, since we haven't heard from you?
Where to begin? All right, I'll say this. First of all, Karen told you they were twins.
Yeah,
I know. I just needed to be 100% confirmed, which it now is.
I thought it was interesting the way they did that. I mean, you knew something was up with Nora.
Doris, yeah.
Doris. Sorry, I forgot her fucking name for a minute.
Okay.
Doris. I didn't really see that coming in and everything. That part of it all was pretty good, and I was fine with it. I liked the build up and the lead up to that. The Talamasca as a whole are very problematic.
Yeah.
Making her a vampire kind of goes against everything the Talamasca stand for.
It does. That's
so
true.
I feel like here we go once again. And all right, you know what? I'm trying to be fair, but I can't be. I've read all the Vampire Chronicles. I've read all the Mayfair Witches. I know what, I thought they can't screw up the Talamasca because there's no actual direct story to them. They're part of the larger world, and we've gotten glimpses of them. And while the Talamasca has always been a little shady and not perfect, there are certain things they hold dear and true. And this is, if you're going to tell a story, like they're just making up their own shit in some aspects. Like, I don't know, if who's making which show or whatever, or how their overall thing works, because it's all this immortal universe and everything. But stick with the people that are doing interview. I might not like everything interview is doing, but at least it's a more coherent story than the other two we've been getting. I was enjoying the Talamasca. I was even defending Guy against Karen, but it just the story just it falls apart. And this big everything Amsterdam and kidnapping Jasper and wanting Jasper to turn all these Talamasca agents, like it literally defeats the whole purpose. I mean, there has been there's always been a thing like there's certain Talamasca agents who have special powers, but they're not vampires, they're not werewolves, they're not witches. If you are any of those things, you cannot be in the Talamasca. If you're in the Talamasca and you turn into one of those things, you are kicked out of the Talamasca. Like, instead, they're creating I don't.
I get that. I hadn't thought about that, but I don't know. As I said yesterday, I like the show. I just expected better. Like I feel like they
Yes.
could have done it better. There's just certain things I just think would have worked different ways better, and they didn't. Maybe, yeah, it wasn't as strong as it could have been. But I didn't dislike it. I mean, I enjoyed it. But yeah, I hadn't really thought about the fact that they shouldn't be condoning what they are. But I did at a certain point realize she was a 752. Sorry, go ahead.
In the books, as I recall, like there are people who used to be in the Talamasca who took the dark gift and became vampires, but they're not like in the Talamasca anymore, right? Like they leave the Talamasca. It's not like all these like vampires in the like taking over the Talamasca.
It's not even like it's by. I mean, I don't want to say too much because there is a storyline that'll be coming up, possibly a storyline that'll be coming up during the Vampire Lestat, but there's let's put it this way. There are two very well-known characters who both become vampires who are told you're no longer Talamasca. Like they're not given a choice. It's not like, oh, I don't think it would be Talamasca anymore because I'm a vampire now. It's no, you're gone. You can't be here anymore.
That's a good way to make enemies. That's kind of not smart, but I guess we'll see how.
So the fact what this show is doing with the Talamasca, I don't understand. Like I thought the story had potential. I thought the story was going in a good direction. I do like the stuff, what they did with Helen and her sister, and then she's the 752. I thought that was all very interesting and creative. But if they had just done it with her as a one-off type thing, one rogue person in the Talamasca with this idea, fine. But when you get the head of the Talamasca saying, "Here, Jasper, go turn all these people," for me, the story just fell apart at the end.
I wonder, though, like if the other Talamasca is okay with what he's doing. I mean, it's possible he's doing this in secret and they don't know, too. We could find out that he might be
true
rogue. That would maybe make a little more sense, I think. But
true, but if that comes out to be the case, then every single Talamasca person we met in this series is rogue. Helen is rogue, Houseman is rogue, Jasper is rogue, Olive is rogue, Guy is off the book.
Well, Jasper's not Talamasca.
Well, yeah, but he took over the Talamasca mother house. But yes, he's not actually Talamasca.
Yeah, no, you're totally right, and I hadn't thought of that.
For me, the story this season was a problem because we began with 3 questions. Like, what is the Talamasca? What are they after? What happened to Guy's mother? And then this other boring mystery, like what's up with Helen, which like, whatever, that was like a side story. And at the end of the season, Guy knows nothing about his mother. We don't really know much about the Talamasca. We don't really know what they do because the whole thing is set up as Helen's like off the books operation. And like the major questions from the beginning were never answered. And the twist at the end, I mean, in the end, the answer to every single question is Doris, right?
Yeah.
And it's a show. I mean, I wouldn't mind at all season 2 being just about Doris because she's interesting, but then it wouldn't be the Talamasca. It would just be another vampire chronicle. Kind of, right? It would be a story of a vampire.
And actually, you know something funny? When I watched, I actually, at the end of it, I watched the little snippet the behind the scenes thing.
I didn't watch it.
I didn't know he was British.
Who?
Australian, I mean.
Guy.
We're not sure.
He's Australian, right? Is he British?
Or Kiwi. Somebody said he was Kiwi, so he might be not Australian, but he's from that area, I guess, from over there.
Well, my point is, he has a very different accent than the American accent we were getting from him during the show.
I actually thought his accent was pretty shaky and came through. He's Australian, Jamie. I thought his English, his American accent wavered, particularly in episode 5, the second to last episode. I noticed him just like dropping R's and like having a little. I mean, he's young and not done a ton of American television, and maybe needs a more practice at it, right? I mean, I'm not going to go on TV and do an Australian accent. I would suck. So I'm not saying I could do better, but I thought his accent was his American accent wavered sometimes this season. But I knew he was Australian.
Yeah, I think that probably makes a difference.
Yeah, I had no idea. So I heard the interview and I went, "Holy crap!"
either. Well, but the one who plays Helen obviously isn't British either. So I had forgotten she wasn't British because I'm used to seeing her in Downton Abbey. So
Yeah, it's funny because she plays an American living in Britain, and on this show she plays a Brit living in America.
Yeah, it's funny. But we do get more of the flashback. We kind of talked about that we find out that was Doris, who was I think it's funny though, and I said this last night, the fact that like she's so important because she has a photographic memory. Like this is not a paranormal superpower. So I found that a little strange because that is something that exists, and yes, I could see how it could be.
Yeah, but she doesn't just have a photographic memory. She literally memorizes everything she sees.
That's
like she can walk past a building and they can say how many bricks are in that building, and she can tell you how many bricks are in the building.
Well, I mean, I thought, as far as I know, that is what a photographic memory is. Would you notice everything necessarily?
How would you?
But
That's not how a photographic memory works.
You would have to stop and count the bricks, yes. But if you counted the bricks, you'd remember it forever.
There's a little bit of a Rain Man thing going on. Like, in Rain Man, when the box of matches falls on the floor and he looks at it for like half a second and says, 248 or whatever.
Right,
yeah. Counts them all without even. There's that little bit of a savant thing going on with this kid, I think, that goes beyond I feel a photographic memory, because things that's
not a paranormal power. So I find it kind of interesting the way that like they took this girl out of her home because she had this power. Like it's not really a power. You know what I'm saying? Like it's not something paranormal.
Okay, but the other set of sisters we saw, that woman had a different power. Like the lights were shaking. Right. Like the Talamasca was investigating, I think, a lot of different things. And they knew they needed a 752, and I think they selected.
Well, I think they created the 752 because
they created her version of it. They already had the book. They had to read the books, and then they destroyed the books.
Yeah, they were looking for someone that they could. Yeah.
And that's the other thing we didn't talk about. So they set the fire themselves because she said that they destroyed it all.
Yes.
I had forgotten that. We didn't mention that. So then there is a lot with Jasper threatening Guy. And I like those scenes. I said that last night. I enjoyed that. And then we have Doris who comes in.
Wait. I want to ask AJ what you thought about that. We talked about it at some length last night about
I really like the scenes with Jasper and Guy. I don't know. Maybe I just really enjoy any scene with Jasper because he just stills every scene he's in.
Yeah. I was telling Jamie last night, I thought it was like a little sudden that Jasper turns on Guy really suddenly at the beginning of this episode. And then I thought, oh, well, it's number 5 of 6. So we got to get the show on the road. And
I don't think he was ever completely in with him anyway. I think he was playing with him the whole time. So it wasn't really a sudden turn.
Yeah.
Well, he also says that he's been trying to read his mind the whole time. He knows too. So that was pissed.
Yeah. He's like, Guy, you've been trying to read my mind. I'm over you. I'm sick of you. You got to go.
Yeah. But I like that Guy was kind of like not taking his crap still, even though he had, no way to defeat him.
See, but what Jamie, we just have different opinions, because what like Jamie takes as not taking his crap, I described as being a whiner when he's like, Jasper, you're using me. And I'm like, oh my God, is there any character on the show that Guy hasn't whined, you're using me? Like, that's what he says to Helen all the time, right? Now he's like, Jasper, you're using me.
Yeah, I guess I just liked that he wasn't scared of him. Like he didn't give in and, answer his questions.
Like he was using Jasper.
He was using Jasper. Oh, totally.
They were using each other. It was pretty apparent. And Jasper, I mean, they knew they were using each other the whole time. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, they did. So Doris comes in, torches him. I did like that too. I thought that this whole scene was pretty good. And all the vampires are trying to get out. And she ends up in the trunk again. Or no, I'm sorry. She ends up in the car. She ends up in the trunk after. This is where I was telling Karen, because I had gone to download the pictures for the episode to make the thumbnail before I watched it. I already knew she was a vampire. I just didn't know how it connected. But that's good, because I was still surprised. Like, I didn't expect it to go the way it did. I was more trying to figure out, well, how she become a vampire. I figured they were going to attack her on the way out and she got bit or something and he didn't know it, is what I thought had happened. But I guess with this show, there's more to it usually than turning.
Well, I thought it was pretty obvious that it was her when they had her on the table with her face covered.
I
had missed that scene the first time.
I didn't think it was obviously Doris. I mean, it made sense to me when I learned about Helen's sister, but it wasn't obvious to me here. It was surprising to me here when she reveals she's a vampire, partly because I've been waiting for her to do something witchy. Like, she's been positioned as a witch, and all these witches who appear to do nothing that makes them a witch. No witch does anything in this whole thing, right? Yeah. Including like stop themselves from getting.
They get massacred. We talked about that. They get massacred without doing anything, without even fighting back. So then we also have Wells here. Okay, that isn't yet when he stands up to him. I thought it was. Olive comes and gets his message that he needs help, and this is where he talks to Helen. I liked how they did that with the stripping. That was pretty cool. But yeah, I had a problem with this scene, as I said yesterday, in the sense that guys like, this is what you're gonna do. I need your help or I'm gonna die. And she just immediately is like, yes, I'll do what you say, and didn't even. I don't know. It was a little weird to me, the scene. And her agreeing to help him.
And Helen says, that's not how this works. And he says, sit down. And he points at her and she just like sits down.
Yeah, that was a little, I don't know. It just didn't ring true for me. What did you think, AJ?
I thought it was fine because he's starting to realize that he knows she cares about him. He doesn't know why, but he knows that ultimately she's going to do anything she can to help him. So it made
a problem. I haven't explained why. Like, I don't get why she cares about him. I still
because it's her grandson. I'm sticking to it.
You're sticking to it. I do think she's related to him in some way. I would agree with that, but I think that maybe that relationship to me would make more sense if they did explain.
Well, they'll tell us in season 2.
Yeah.
Find Mommy.
Well, no, I don't know. I thought it was a little strange the fact that she did. Like, I liked that he stood up and told her off, but the fact that she's so easily folded, I thought was a little weird. But I now that I get that she cares about him, it makes more sense. I just would have liked to have, I guess, seen a little more of why, or her admitting it or something. I don't know. But either way, she agrees she'll get him passports. Him and his friend, who she doesn't know yet who it is, but she later finds out is her sister Doris. But she goes to talk. Let's see. I'm trying to look at the pictures. They go to the safe house and get ready to leave and play games and stuff. And then we also have Jasper here, who is really ticked off that she burnt him. And he's like, we got to find them now. And Wells is like, we can find them. It may take a while. And he's like, no, they burnt me. It needs to be now. And he's giving him his blood. And he also ingests the blood from the ancient that
will help restore him.
The guy gave him.
That enables him to not have to wear this makeup for the entire episode.
Yeah, this melting makeup. I didn't notice it's like melted flesh. That's kind of cool. But yeah, that way he can get rid of the makeup. And he looks a little scared there. They come back. They play games. They learn a little bit more about each other. They make up fake backstories. Nothing super important.
I hated this. I really didn't like much of that scene. I didn't like Guy telling this stupid story about how the teacher walked in the room. And it was like, well, we didn't learn anything new. Like, we already knew that guy.
I think it was just for her to understand why he joined the Talamasca. But yeah, you're right. We didn't learn anything. That's for sure.
I don't think she needed to. I thought it was kind of like filler, waste of my time a little bit to have Guy tell this ridiculous story about how when the teacher walked in, she knew she was going to destroy his world and blah, 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 blah. Like, it didn't we didn't really learn anything there. They've spent, like, it didn't help me. one thing about this season, I don't feel like any of the characters are really very well developed until suddenly Doris got a bunch of development in like this last episode or two. Guy, to me, remains a pretty, his motivation to me is thin. Like they tell it like, oh, because his mother disappeared, he has to find her. But I just don't feel it. Like he says it, he blabs it at me, but I just don't feel his characterization. I think Helen's pretty boring. All of it's really
I agree with you there. I don't really feel
Blabs it at me.
I don't know if I go that far, but yeah, I don't really feel it either. Like there's some disconnect, and I don't know if it's because he never really knew his mother much till he was only, pretty little when he lost her. I don't know, but yeah, there's some.
Well,
there's some,
I think part of it, there's 6 episodes and everything was rushed.
Yeah.
8 would have been better. All right, so she goes and she gets out her gun out of the, I guess, condom dispenser and takes it out, which was a good hiding place. They're meanwhile trying to crack the code. Let's see.
Crack the matrix. They're trying to crack the matrix.
Crack the orange matrix. So let me talk. Whoops. Sorry, that's when she. So let me ask you, AJ, because we talked about this. How did you feel about this? About the fact that because this definitely seems like they're setting them up for romance. They thankfully didn't in these last episodes, but they seem to be pushing that narrative. And
I kind of felt that way too. And I was like, dude, you just slept with her best friend.
That's what I said. That's exactly what I said. Yeah, we didn't need it. They should have.
I was very much like, we don't need this. Like they don't need to have a romantic relationship. Just move on.
I read a couple interviews with the creators where that doesn't seem like it's what they were going for. It seems like they were going for like a kind of intimacy on a friendship level, but it didn't play. To me, it
did not play like friends.
Yeah, just generally because adults, if they don't know each other, don't share a bed like that. If they're best friends, maybe, but they don't really know each other. And they're like,
well, I mean, to be fair, it was only bed in the room. Safe house.
I know, but there wasn't even a conversation like.
They're too close. It's got that every other TV show or movie or whatever where we see the leads laying like it just
they're too close.
You want to do this scene, have them further apart and maybe like leaning on an elbow
and maybe with the lights turned on.
Yeah.
Right? It's too dark. It's too.
Yeah, they could have been having a conversation, but they were supposed to be sleeping. So
it played. Well, they were fully dressed. I don't know if they were. They
were
dressed. Guy says, let's get some rest. And then they're like napping in the. Yeah, it just played a little too flirty and like attraction between them, right?
Yeah, they definitely weren't doing anything. It's just, it was definitely seemed more like a.
I was uncomfortable with it. I was uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And then I became more uncomfortable later. Thinking back on it.
Yeah. All right. So let's move on to the second episode here. Okay. So then we meet this guy who it ends up is Houseman from the end of the episode, we think. I don't think they ever confirmed that, do they? I think that was
I don't think it's Houseman. It's just some guy.
Oh, I assumed, or not Houseman.
It's Houseman.
I don't know why I said that. I wasn't thinking of Houseman. I don't know who I was thinking of, but I was thinking he was somebody we've seen. Who was? Yeah, because he's a vampire. He can't be. Who was I thinking he was?
He's just a vampire.
Yeah, I don't know what I was thinking. I remember saying something about it, and I don't know what it was. I don't know. Forget I said that. Okay, so this guy comes in. He killed his family, and he's made to turn. He's a vampire, and he's made to turn this woman, who we find out later is Doris.
See, to me, and the reason I felt pretty to me, it was obvious that it was Doris, was because it was a young female brunette. That's all I needed.
To be fair, they could have used, I mean, I know that it is her, but they could have even used her as like a stand-in because she was on set. That doesn't necessarily mean that it's the same character, but it is. But I don't
think they paid a equity actress as a stand-in to do that, but whatever. But to me, it wasn't obvious that it was her.
Again, my reasoning behind it is just because she's the only young brunette we have in the cast.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't really think about it because usually the cold open is like kind of like dumb and not important. Cold
Okay.
open, like usually it is sometimes a little giveaway though. We talked about the week that it was the fire, right? One week the cold open was the fire in Amsterdam. One week
And
the
then
cold
the
open,
vampire that was being drained. Yeah. Maybe
was
they should have
the elder who was being drained, the ancient who was being drained. Like it usually, and I guess I was a little more focused on like when this guy was like, "This is not how we do things," and how the Talamasca was like, making this vampire. I was a little more. I was stupid to be focused on the Talamasca in a show called the Talamasca. I should have been focused on some other things.
I don't know, but I agree. They got to quit giving things away. It's like Fury in the credits of the beginning of the episode. You don't need to see that.
Like half the episodes, the cold open like foreshadowed too
much, too hard. Yeah. Well, either way, he turns her. Duh. So she gets up. She goes out because she thinks he's protected. And meanwhile, there's a massacre with all the witches. And I did think this is funny. He's asking this woman, like, where's the book? Where's the book? And she's like, got her throat slit. Like, you should have asked her before you slit her throat.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. You mentioned that last night.
Yeah. I don't know.
I mean, I don't think he intended to keep that. I don't think he intended to have to ask her a question. I don't think that he was like, I think he really thought he was going to find what he needed there. And now he was like, oh shit, is there anybody alive that I can ask?
Yeah. No, it's just funny to me anyway. It was funny.
I thought the whole thing was poorly led up to, and it was just, it was a situation created to be a situation.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like, why did Helen? I see. At first, it's funny. Actually, I thought Helen was on to Olive. She was not. But why tell Helen that that they're in a safe house? They're going to hide out with the witches. Why tell Olive anything? You're her superior. Why do you need to tell her anything? Or I sent him to, or make up something. I sent him to a safe house in blah blah blah.
Yeah.
Why,
Olive is supposedly his handler and maybe would have an interest in where he is,
but she lied to her. So why not lie something better than she's with the witches?
So is that what made you
involve it? Why involve it at all?
That made you think she was on to Helen, to Olive, because she told Olive, threw Olive off the trail, right?
Right.
She tells Olive they're in one place, they're actually in the safe house.
Turns out she was not onto her. But why put the witches in any type of danger at all? Like my point is, the way it was written was sloppy. It was just to get this to happen,
and it made it seem like it was intentional.
And it was really, I think, not even to get this to happen. It was to get Guy arrested later when he's at the scene of the crime. Not even at the scene of the crime.
No, I agree. It was to get this to happen, to have him and Doris show up there so that Richie then sees them, and
yeah.
Who Helen's going to offer to join the Talamasca.
Yeah, I mean, it was all to get to the DNA for the kind of to make the reveal of Doris, right? And Scarlet we talked about this last night, but Scarlet in particular was like, come on, it's an entire coven of witches and they don't have a protection spell. They don't have any, they're harboring a vampire in their midst. There's no, there's a version of this episode where there could have been a cool, witch vampire fight, right?
Yeah.
But
once again, we skip through a lot.
They were the hippie witches who just said, "Oh, they're killing us."
Oh, because we're just not witches. We're just people who burn sage and get tattoos.
Maybe.
Right?
Yeah.
To not have any actual witch powers. We
have not seen any witch powers used in the whole show. So,
don't a lot in some witches in the Anne Rice universe have the ability to see things that are coming, to see none of these witches saw that the vampires were coming. None of these witches who live in a city with a vampire coven and a Talamasca mother house, they should just have a protection spell at all times anyway, right?
They should.
That was a little, but yeah, I agree with AJ.
Everybody in the same area.
I agree with you, AJ, and Jamie. It was all convoluted just to get to them to be arrested, to be in police custody.
Yeah. So Ridge takes him in for the murder, or for the murder of Kevis. Technically not for the houseboat massacre, but they talk about it. So meanwhile, Helen goes to see, I don't remember his name, like you said, Melville / Jameson. Was that his name?
Yeah, Melville / Jameson.
Yeah.
Okay, the guy who ran the program.
Who was involved with the program?
Yeah. Well, I thought that he was supposed to be, like I asked you, is he supposed to be the one that was on the train talking to her sister when she was little? I assumed that was who that was supposed to be, but it wasn't really said. And then this kind of goes back and forth, but we have Ridge accusing them of murder and having no evidence except these shoes that somehow is like magic evidence she thinks is going to help her. But she's clearly just trying to get them to slip up.
You know what I loved about this scene? I completely forgot he was a lawyer until he started.
Yeah, I did too.
Until he started going back at her, and I was like, "Oh, that's right. He's a lawyer."
Yeah, you can get him on this circumstantial shit.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think he has exactly the same rights in the UK that he has under US law, but I'm sure it's similar enough, right?
Yeah, I know. She's like, this isn't the US. I can keep you here for 24 hours.
Yeah, she can.
But I appreciate that. But then we also have the stuff with Jameson and Helen, where she is pulling. Now, see, we also talked about, like, why did she wait until she was there to look at the passport? Like, I had thought that he gave it to her. I had forgotten she had picked it up at the drop. So kind of questioned why she waited until she talked to him. But this is where she looks at the passport and she finds out about her sister. And also this is where he says that her sister doesn't go by Emma anymore, but that he's not really in the loop anymore. So he doesn't know what's going on. But that woman still shoots him to get him to shut up. So she doesn't get the information.
I think her name was Patricia, maybe.
Trisha. I mean, she pretty much still got the information she needed. So I'm not sure what good that was. But
I mean, Patricia obviously is a Talamasca agent.
Yeah. Yeah.
Who waited a little too long to pull the trigger.
Well, they had to give us all the information first, then she can shoot him, right?
Yeah.
All right.
We just didn't get the rest of the information.
Yeah.
Maybe there was more. I guess we don't know. Well, maybe he was going to say about the 752. Who knows? So then they are pulled out of prison because Olive comes back in as MI5 again. And he's not happy that they got him out. And this is where she tells Guy psychically she has the book because she thinks Doris does have the book, but she has a scrapbook. We found out later. But she tells that to him, so he goes to get it.
Who tells it to him?
Doris, no, he read her mind.
Olive told him in his mind that.
Okay, that's not. I didn't take it that way at all. I thought that was him reading her mind and Olive going, "Holy shit, she's got the book."
Oh, I thought it was okay. I thought she told him that. Like, I thought it was intentional. It doesn't really matter because it has the same outcome, but I thought it was like a play because she really did think she had the book. I mean, that part wasn't a lie, but I thought she was trying to get him to not let her leave because she's like, "Hey,
she had the book. It was just the wrong book."
Right.
But not the book they thought it was.
It makes Doris lash out at her, and we find out Doris is a vampire. He still pulls her back, like, don't kill her. And she doesn't. She stops, ends up in the trunk. He checks out the book, and that's where he finds out that the book, I guess I don't want to picture it, but finds out that the book's a scrapbook. And then also Helen finds out from this guy, Jay, that she's wanted for murder. Oh, I did skip that part. When Ridge says that the DNA is in the scene, he's like, "Well, yeah, my DNA's on her. Basically says I had sex with her." And she's like, "It's not your DNA. It's Helen's." And he pretends he doesn't know her and won't tell her anything. But we find out after, when he has the conversation with Doris, when she finally admits what's going on, that it's actually her DNA because she's Helen's sister. And we find out about her being a vampire and how she protected Kevis and all that good stuff. And we see the flashback again to know that was her getting bit.
Yeah. And she's like, "Yeah, it's a scrapbook. Kevis told you it was a scrapbook. I told you it was a scrapbook." Like, it's kind of funny that we as the audience all along have been like, "Well, do you think it's a scrapbook or do you think it's this?" Like, we have always considered the possibility that it could be a scrapbook. And yet, like, Guy, apparently Like these other characters, Guy and Jasper, they don't seem to have ever considered that it could really just be a scrapbook, right?
Yeah. Yeah, and she took it because her friend died. I mean, that's pretty much, hey, Dieter, welcome.
Hi, Dieter.
I mean, look, I do want to say at this point, I think this is when I said in the chat, oh, she is the book. Like, it hit me at that point, there is no book. So I did like that. I mean, they were leading up to it, and they had left clues that she was the book all along. Or not all along, all through this episode. But yeah, I had at that point, that was when it clicked for me. And
it never could be a book. Like we discussed this weeks ago, you guys, right? That it can't be a book. You can't have one book that contains all the knowledge of all these books unless it was written in some kind of kooky code, right? Like there was I think a couple weeks ago, there was a point when Ridge got the jump drive. I thought maybe that jump drive is the 750.
I thought it was too at first.
Yeah. Did we ever find out what's actually on that jump drive?
Oh, yeah, that was the jump drive that Soledad had that revealed that Olive was a double agent.
Olive's IDs.
Yeah. Okay. I was gonna say I have a picture of that somewhere. Okay. I forgot that we did get that. So yeah, it wasn't what they thought. All right. So we know now that she's a vampire, and we know that she is her sister. And then we have the scenes with this guy who we don't know who he is yet, but there's kind of some vague mentioning where they're like,
Houseman.
yeah, well, we know that now, but I mean, we didn't know it at this point in the episode. We didn't know anything about it.
Oh, well, because until he introduced himself as Houseman.
Well, yeah, but I mean, we don't know who Houseman is. But there's kind of this fake conversation about what do we do with him? And then they're like, well, let's wait, see where I think he says like, see where he leads us or something. And can't get it, or I don't know. But the point is they're talking about Jasper and what they're going to do with him. And Jasper, meanwhile, is having this argument with Wells where I thought this was so funny because I'm like, what are you doing? Like, why are you telling him I'm not putting up with you anymore? You're going to get your throat ripped out. Yep, you got your throat ripped out. But I did kind of like how they did it, too, because it did lead into he's like, this is basically said this is bigger than me is sort of what he said. And it was because that's when they come and grab him. But I don't know. I was like, what are you doing, dude? Like, why are you?
Well, I mean, the key here was that Wells was like, this is where I draw the line. I called Amsterdam. This is why Houseman shows up, because Wells called Amsterdam.
Yes. But meanwhile, Jasper's kind of like I am. Like, what do you think you're going to do to me? Like, why?
Well, call Houseman. Like, I mean, he did do something to Wells.
He did. He didn't think he had any power. He did. He didn't think he had any power. But either way, he gets his throat ripped out. That was not surprising. But then we get a flash bomb, and they wrap him up in a rug. They put the cage on his face. She watches them pull him out. I don't know what she intended, but she does follow. Or she doesn't follow. She ends up in the basement where all the revenants are that they've set on fire.
Real quick, fun aside, since neither of you watched the behind the scenes after the episode.
No, I didn't watch it.
Yeah, but I forget what it said.
William Pitcher, he says, he's talking about that scene, and he says, before we shot the scene, I pulled the stunt guys aside and told them, listen, when we do this, and he points to his nose and he goes, don't break
the nose. Yeah, I remember that. That was funny. Yeah, he did not want to be hurt. But Helen comes. Let's see. Helen comes to meet them. She has to tell them she has a gun in order to avoid these people. Now, we talked about that. They're like cleanup Talamasca, I think. That was how I took it, that they're the fixers, the cleanup crew.
I got to say, I didn't know who the hell they were, and I kept wondering if I was supposed to.
Yeah.
No, we weren't.
I think
what I took it to be.
There's a point in the episode where someone's on the phone saying, we have a problem with Helen. And I guess these guys were dispatched to, I don't really know what problem they think they have with Helen, except maybe they learned that this entire operation, Helen has been running off the books with Guy, right? So maybe that's why they're here to round her up.
I just assumed that they were bad Talamasca.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not really relevant.
I mean, really, it seems like in this show, all the Talamasca are bad except Helen, it looks like, right?
Yeah, pretty much.
And Guy. But yeah, that's a good point.
I did think it was kind of ingenious where Helen, and a better piece of writing where Helen says, tells the cop, I have a gun.
He doesn't believe her.
Well, I mean, he doesn't believe her, but it was like to draw the attention of the police to protect herself from the Talamasca. I thought was a pretty smart move.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
she pulls there.
And also to distract anybody from getting at them too. I thought it was also a distraction for her sister and Guy. She does at least get to see her for a moment, but they don't get to speak. So they know, yeah, she knows her sister's alive, knows what she is. They kind of have a little, silent goodbye. She gets arrested. And then the whole handoff with him taking the passports that she left in the lady's pocket. And then, like you said, she's arrested for murder. She tells Ridge that she would make a good agent, like you alluded to. And then we have the whole last part with Jasper, where he has been grabbed by Houseman, who is like, I'll let you go. And, tit for tat, you give us what we want. We'll give you what you want. We'll let you go. And then it wraps back around and he wants him to make these people into vampires, which, like you said, doesn't make a lot of sense. We don't know what that's about. I don't think it makes tons of connect. Like, I don't think it connects right either. But it didn't bother me as much as it did you because I haven't read the books or anything. So, but it's creepy.
I mean, so do you guys think he's making full vampires or is he making revenants? Because Olive seems to have no point on this show except to find checkers at the end and realize that she can control revenants with a clicker, right? And did she tell Houseman, let's make ourselves a revenant army? Or
I think they're supposed to be full vampires.
Full vampires?
Yeah, I don't have a picture of her with the clicker. I thought I did. Yeah, I assumed that they meant full vampires because he had them torched. Like, why would he do that if he wanted revenants? It wouldn't make sense. So that's
he
why.
Didn't have them torched. Helen oh, they were torched by Darcy.
Yeah, that was by him when he was getting them.
Agents. Yeah.
So,
so do you think these are people like Doris who have special abilities that they want to turn into vampire? Are these all 7
honestly, when I saw this scene, I stopped using my brain. I was just like, really?
Yeah. And why are all their faces? Like, I get why they covered Doris's face earlier so we wouldn't catch on, but I don't know why their faces are covered.
I don't know. I mean, if it was like a morally superior vampire, maybe they wouldn't want to see their identities, but I don't think he cares. I really don't think he cares. So, I think it's just to make it weird and creepy, probably. And then the last bit is Doris saying that she thinks she knows where his mother is. And somebody is watching them, and we don't know who that is.
It's somebody that works for Houseman.
Yes.
Probably, yeah.
Well, Houseman, they say that Houseman gets a call that they've located her.
Yeah,
and he says, do you want me to bring her in? And he says, no, just see where she goes.
Yeah, let's follow her.
So Jamie commented last night that when Doris says, I think I know where your mother is, she's kind of surprised. It's almost like, hey, I think I know where your mother is. Almost like that, right?
Which is why I said it makes me think that it's not like they're not related in the way we think, because otherwise she would have already known that before. So she's definitely not his mother. And I'm assuming not his aunt, because I don't know, to me, she seemed surprised, unless it was just done badly.
Wait, what?
So I considered the possibility early in this episode or the previous episode that Doris once I learned that Doris was a vampire, I was like, oh, could Doris has been his mother? Like maybe she had a baby and when they turned her, she had to leave the baby or something, right? Vampires can't reproduce, right? So only by
this is not Twilight.
This is why Scarlett's entire theory that Guy is the child of Jasper is Lestat. Scarlett thinks that Guy is the spawn of the child of Lestat, which he can't be because Lestat's been a vampire for hundreds of years. And Scarlett's read the books, I think, but
I think she's read some of it. Maybe
no, I mean, his mother is his mother, but I think that Helen is his grandmother, which in turn would make Doris his aunt.
Okay.
I could see that. At some point, I considered the possibility that Doris could have been his mother, because she's old enough to have had a child, right?
Yeah, she could have had a child before she was turned
some years ago. But then this scene kind of throws that away for me. And then, could Helen be his grandmother? Helen could be his mother. She could have had a child in her 40s.
But why does he think this other woman's his mother then?
Because
Are we forgetting? Are we forgetting that he actually spent time with his mother?
Yeah, he actually spent time with his mother. You're right. I am forgetting that he actually spent time with his mother. Yeah. So Helen being his grandmother is a better fit.
That does fit better. But either way, her epiphany that she knows where his mother is did seem to be like a surprise.
That was not even surprise. It was random.
Yeah,
it was.
It was all of a sudden like, oh, by the way,
I think I know where your mother is. Yeah.
I just realized that your mother is my niece, so I think I know where she might have gone.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
And that's actually the thing. Doris might not even know that because she hasn't been around.
Yeah. I feel certain that this will be renewed. It has not been renewed yet, but there's no way.
Hey, if they renewed Mayfair for a third season, this will get renewed.
Yeah. AMC is all in on the Anne Rice, on the Immortal Universe, and this will be renewed, I think. And I don't even know why it's called the Talamasca. Like now.
See, I've said this before. I'm going to say it again now. I feel like AMC kind of dropped the naming ball on this one. I don't know why they didn't call everything the Vampire Chronicles.
Yeah.
And then just have subtitles for everything. Yeah. Because it's going to confuse people that aren't familiar. Are going to get really confused when they're looking for season 3 of Interview with the Vampire and can't find it. Because like the new season's called The Vampire Lestat.
Yeah, just like all the
confusing too.
Just like all the Walking Dead are called The Walking Dead, Dead City, The Walking Dead, Daryl Dixon, The Walking Dead, blah blah.
American Horror Story, and then whatever the subtitle was.
Yeah, I agree. It should have been Vampire Chronicles Talamasca.
And this really, I agree with AJ. This is taking the the Talamasca, based on what we've seen in this show, the Talamasca is everybody's corrupt and evil. They're a fully corrupt organization. The little bit we saw of the Talamasca in season 1 of Mayfair Witches was not, they were more like the watch and observe kind of
outfit. Which is what they're supposed to be.
Yeah,
but they are not that.
Yeah. But we are going to get. It's confirmed that we are going to get Talamasca characters over onto Interview with the Vampire Lestat.
I did not know that. Okay.
Yeah. And AJ Gabriella's coming. Gabriella's going to appear.
Yeah.
So we'll see what we see of these as AJ said, we know who it is. We don't want to say anything about this person.
That's fine. Yeah. I have no clue what you're talking about, so you're good. All right. Well, you want to do, I guess we can do The Last Frontier maybe quickly, because I'll be honest, I didn't go back over it, so I'm not going to remember.
I just watched them both today because when you said we have to cover The Last Frontier, I'm like, wait, that's over, isn't it? And I was like, oh, it's not over. It wasn't over. And then I watched these 2 episodes and I was like, that is the worst ending for a show ever. And then I realized it wasn't the ending. There's still more.
Yeah,
I thought 8 was the last episode, and I was like, wait, that's a horrible ending. And then it was horrible because it's not the ending.
Yeah, it's not. There's still 2 more left. Well, maybe you tell me what happened and then what you thought, and then I'll tell you what I thought about those parts, because I at this point don't know what was what. I know you saw the flashback finally, right?
That's episode 8 is almost entirely a flashback. Episode 7 is when they finally are closing in on, they have this guy, they have the Turkish guy they still have him in their jail, right? And they're still questioning him. And they find, I'm going to make this short. They do.
I had a picture of him. It must be in the next episode.
A picture of him. I forget his name. His name is like Tiaga or something like that.
It's from the next episode. I don't know.
They do a big search to try to find this guy, and they find a picture of him in the Annapolis Gazette from like 25 years ago, right?
Yeah,
And
and
they
he's
realized
been
this guy's
before, yeah.
they realized this guy's been in the United States like a lot more than like he did they realized he's been a CIA operative for a long time, that he wasn't just so that happens. We also see this episode, the flash. I mean, I jumped over the part. We see the flashback of how Frank's daughter was killed.
Yes.
I'm not sure how I feel about that. I think that storyline is wholly unnecessary.
Yeah, I think they took way too long to tell it. I think that like it was more interesting at the beginning of the season, and it's like by this point, were you even thinking about it anymore?
So we learned that like Frank was it looks like it was a drive-by, but he was targeted because he's a cop, and some criminals like targeted him, shot him, and his daughter was in the car and she was killed. And
yeah, we don't know why yet, right?
Yeah, we know why. We found out why.
Okay, I couldn't.
I don't know if we found out in this episode or in. I guess we had to be in this episode. We find out that Frank had suppressed evidence to ensure that a bad guy went to jail, and the gun that Frank is keeping in the book in his basement is the book he stole. Is the gun he stole out of evidence, so that this guy would go. It was a gun that proved that this guy didn't commit the crime, right? But he was a bad guy, and Frank wanted him to go down anyway. I think that's how it goes, right, Jamie?
Yeah, kind of curious why he kept the gun though. Like, why not destroy the gun? Like way back when.
Well, because I mean, destroy the gun. The gun could always be found. Like,
well, not destroy the gun, but throw it in the ocean or something.
Yeah, but it could always be found. Like, unless you throw it into the fire, unless you throw it into like a volcano to literally melt it down, like it can always resurface, right?
Yeah, but like all the fingerprint evidence would be gone by then. But
no,
yeah,
but
I guess
it wasn't fingerprint. Like you could always shoot a gun and find out if the bullet from the. You could always shoot a gun and find out if that bullet was used in that crime, right? It proves the guy didn't. It proves the guy didn't commit the murder. So that gun would always be evidence that would get the guy off, right?
Yeah, and he didn't want that to happen, so he suppressed it, and then they sent somebody to kill him. Hey, Just Me, welcome. Yeah, so that explains how that happened. Like I said, I think if they had maybe put it more towards the beginning of the season, I think it would have been better. I just think at this point, like, I don't know. I feel like maybe you'd already be past.
I don't know why they feel it necessary to make, like, I'm not watching this show for its deep characterization and really great, right? Like you're watching it because like you just want to find out like what happened and there's like this mystery. And so they give Frank this big flaw that destroyed his family and causes his wife and son, they move out. Like in the end of this episode, they're like, we're going to go stay with my sister. Like what every woman on TV always says, I'm going to go stay with my sister for a while.
What if you don't have a sister?
and they go to stay with Aunt Renee. And like Frank's family is destroyed and or not destroyed, but really shaken, right?
Yeah.
And I just don't know why they felt it was necessary to put this in there. Like
yeah, I think it was an extra storyline maybe they didn't need, but I'm trying to remember if there's anything else about it. If there is, I couldn't tell you anyway, so it wouldn't really matter. But yeah, like I said, I feel like at this point, kind of already that ship's already sailed. Like maybe they should have put it in sooner.
Yeah.
So what else happens in this episode?
So then Sydney this is where you start to really suspect Sydney even more than we have in the past, because she's like, let's go talk to Thiago. We got him in jail. Let's go talk to him. And Frank's like, okay, but I do all the talking. And then of course she immediately starts yelling at the guy. And just the way they're talking, you can kind of tell that like there's all this, like, it was kind of so obvious that she already knew him, right? Like there just seemed to be all these sort of like little like pieces of like double entendre, like double meanings being dropped in every sentence, and you kind of could easily catch on that like, oh, she knows this guy already, she's lying, right? Turns out that Havelock is listening. Havelock has a speaker somewhere in there somehow. Oh, Havelock has hacked their radio signal or something, right? Because he's a genius at everything. He can fly a plane, he can build a bomb, he can hack your radio, he can like do everything. And so he's like listening in, and he hears all of it. So So you already were kind of onto it, and then like you find out, then you actually see like John Slattery and what's her name?
Yeah, this time it is John Slattery.
Right, yeah. And Bradford, he and Bradford are like, they basically admit it. They're like, oh my God, our CIA agent guy is like, Frank's got him up there. We got to get him loose. We can't like let him. Short version, the whole thing comes out that about Sydney's father, like that this guy was friends with Sydney's father, and does Sydney know it? Does Sydney recognize him? Blah, blah, blah. Then comes out the picture in the newspaper. They find out that Sydney maybe knew this guy since she's a little kid. And you realize that maybe this is the episode where you realize that maybe Sydney has been playing everybody all along.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. But I think we still don't know. Still don't know all the details, but it's
well, we do. I mean, eventually all comes out, right? Well, I mean, so eventually what happened, this is where they catch Havelock in this episode also, right? Like they catch Havelock. He's been like, he comes down from, he was like in a fire watchtower, and they end up like catching him. It's kind of a cool scene. Remember when Havelock like steals the truck, and Frank somehow knows how to fly a helicopter, and he like flies the helicopter or a little plane. Frank flies a little plane.
Is this where he grabs the truck?
What?
Is this where he grabs the truck with the helicopter?
He plays chicken with the truck, and like the truck is like Havelock, right, is driving his truck, and Frank is driving the plane, okay. Right?
I'm trying to think if there's a picture, but there's not. I'm trying
to remember because the exact same thing happened. I went to see The Running Man last night, and pretty much almost the exact same thing happened. And I'm getting a little confused. But they chase him on horseback, and there it is. So Frank can ride a horse, and he can fly a little plane, and Frank forces Havelock to crash, and they get Havelock, and it's kind of a happy ending. Like this could almost be the end of the show, because like Sydney they caught Sydney's man, and they're going to arrest him, and take him away. And Frank insists like, don't let the FBI have him. Let Sydney go with him, and and you think it's all over, and then Frank suddenly starts to realize that Sydney was lying to him all along.
Oops. I thought I selected the other episode. Damn it. All right. He
realizes that Sydney's the little girl in the picture, right? He realizes that in that picture from the parade in Annapolis, because Sydney said something like, this picture is 25 years old. That kid could have been me. Or Sydney basically it's her own fault, right? Like she kind of like dropped all the clues.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah. Sorry. So then we get the flashback. I do remember this. The flashback where he's attacked and she ends up saving him. And that's where she finds out about her father and who he really is. That's what the flashback was about. And that they're trying to, bury her father so they're not getting caught, using him as a scapegoat.
Yeah.
And that kind of thing. And then this is when Havelock was originally caught, right? This is part of the flashback.
This is when Havelock was originally, because Sydney gave him up. In the end, Sydney, we realized that when this all was set in motion, that Sydney could either when Sydney realized why her father was killed, Havelock downloaded the, what's it called? Not the archive. What, the list?
Yeah, it's called the archive, I think.
The archive. He did it as a bargaining chip to protect him and Sydney. Like he was on Sydney's side, right? And he's like, this will protect us. Let's run. And Sydney was like, I think the guy says, you're in a bad position. You can either run with the man you love or stay and avenge your father. And she basically refuses to go with Havelock and kind of gives him up, right? Like she's on the phone with him as he's getting the shit beaten out of him and getting arrested.
Yeah.
That was some cold shit right there, wasn't it?
Yeah. Yeah. I had forgotten about that. There's still, I'm being careful what I say because there's still more to it, but you were saying he grabs him in this one. He gets him. finally?
So at the Havelock is arrested. He's sent away with he's like in the end of the previous episode was when Havelock's arrested and Sydney and these other two agents are like, okay, bye Frank, thanks, we're taking him in. And in this episode, they're in the back of this truck and Havelock is like starts talking to Sydney like he knows everything what she did, and she starts trying to kill him right in the back of the truck. Right? Sydney tries to kill Havelock right in the back of the police van or the FBI van or whatever it is.
Yeah. I don't think it resolves that though, right? How does it end? I forget.
Well, we didn't get there yet, but we have this whole flashback. Almost the whole episode is flashback of like not only how Sydney came to realize
her father really was.
Who her father really was, but then we also realized that so once Havelock gets arrested, Sydney's like, oh, they're going to take him to a black site and kill him. And he's going to be dead anyway. So why don't I just blow up his plane and use it to frame the CIA or whatever her plan is. Right. And she wasn't counting on the fact that Havelock would be able to, she didn't know that Bradford was going to put Havelock on an entire plane on a prison transport. Right. So the whole plan went sideways when the plane crashed. And we saw all these flashbacks and everything of how Sydney's just been lying the whole time and everything she did. It's almost
we got kind of one of the main pieces now, though, finally, which is what I was kind of wondering before and waiting for you to get kind of that piece about her.
But
being instrumental in the plane going down and everything.
Oh, that she brought the plane down. She used the Atwater. Earlier she said to Frank, "Oh, they're going to think I did it because I invented the Atwater protocol in the first place."
Which kind of did.
Turns out she actually did. Yeah. It was kind of not really. It all kind of makes sense at this huge twist, right? That the clues were all there, and I think they're all there for us to see. I just wasn't paying that much attention because I didn't love this show.
Fair. That's why I kept saying wait, because I'm like, I know it's going to make sense once you get to it, but you didn't get to it till now. So I think, to be honest, I think that they should have taken out some of the looking for the prisoners, the individual stuff that was less mythology and was more weekly story, and maybe didn't need quite so many, and then it wouldn't have stretched out so long. Maybe it would have worked better, because I think like I said before, I think both stories are good. I enjoy them searching for the criminals, and I enjoy the part of Sydney and Havelock, their story, but I feel like it was kind of too much together. It's a lot, this show is very confusing and has a lot of moving pieces. And I feel like maybe if they had done one season and one season, or somehow split it different, maybe it would have worked better.
They dropped so much in this. You learn that Bradford had Sydney's father killed, and then you learn that Sydney's mother has known for 20 years. Sydney's mother has known all along that Bradford killed Daddy, and she still let her daughter get a job with Bradford, right? Sydney's entire life has been a lie, and yet she's so horrible that I don't really feel sorry for her by the end of it. I don't feel sorry for Sydney at all. Am I supposed to?
I don't know. I mean, I didn't dislike Sydney as much as you do, so
she's very I don't hate her, I just don't like her. That she's not. I'm not primed to feel sympathy for her. Intellectually, I get that it's a horrible situation. The person I feel sorry for is Havelock. I really feel sorry for Havelock.
I felt more sorry for him, but you didn't kind of know it all, so I couldn't say that before. But he seemed to be the one that got the shit end of the deal. Yeah, because she screwed him in the end, and he really, I think he did really love her. I mean, I think maybe she really loves him too, but I think that they just. Yeah, they were a mess.
I think, she loves him if she can really love anyone. She loves him, but she doesn't, but she sacrifices him. So does she really love him? Right? She chooses revenge over him. Yeah. So hey, Doc. And you see that he really did love her and still does love her, right? And then she tries to shoot him anyway. Now she's gonna he lived through the plane crash that she caused, and now she's gonna shoot him anyway in the back of the police van because he knows.
Yeah, but
Right?
he got away, right? In the end, or I can't remember.
Well, in the end, it ends with Frank. So there's this spectacular car crash with multiple cars crashing and people shoot. Because when you start shooting people in a moving van, you always shoot the driver. Like on every TV shoot ever, you accidentally shoot the driver, right?
Yeah.
In the head, always. And there's like this spectacular crash, and it ends with Frank being like, Havelock, get on your knees. Where's Sydney? And like she got away.
Yeah.
That's how it ends.
All right, but he got him. All right, that's how it was.
I mean, he's pointing that gun at Havelock right now.
I'm confused why they showed the car crash was in the other set of pictures. A part of it must have been in the other episode.
There were multiple car crashes because
okay.
In the previous episode, Frank forces Havelock to crash that pickup truck.
Oh, okay. Well,
in this episode, it's 3 like black Chevy Blazers or something that crash.
Yeah. Well, either way, he's got him now. They've got Havelock, don't have Sydney. So now they have to go after her, I guess. So it kind of switches. I mean, look, there's only 2 episodes left. So the kind of big finale is pretty soon. But it's still
it turns out that she's the real villain in all this and not really Havelock.
Kind of. Yeah. I don't know. You got to keep watching it. I'm trying to remember. I feel like there's still moving pieces left, but honestly, it's been so long since I've seen it at this point. I really should rewatch the finale, I think.
What's out there still is, first of all, Bradford in DC, who is going to probably try to kill everyone who knows now, right?
Yeah.
Like the CIA has to.
Yeah, she's just trying to stop people from finding out about the archive and what she's done and everything else. I mean, that's kind of her role. So she needs to shut that down or she'll be exposed. So, and I guess that's kind of part of what Sydney's after too. Like you said, getting revenge. So yeah, we'll have to see how that plays out, I guess.
Yeah. I mean, she really wants to get Bradford, right? And maybe the John Slattery character who seems to know everything also, right?
But I don't know if he's just like her henchman or what. We don't really get to know much about him up until this point. So
yeah.
All righty.
I mean, it annoyed me that we got like in these 2 hours, we got like an hour and a half of backstory. Like a massive amount of backstory and exposition was dropped on it. We got all Frank's backstory, which seems to have no real point to me. And we got all of this Sydney and Levi backstory and CIA. It's just like an entire. It does add a lot of levels to Sydney's character and make her more of a. She finally has motivation and purpose in it, right? Like it made her a more layered character.
Because a lot of that you didn't know for a while, and you kind of were waiting to see and figure out. Yeah,
and you can see that she's a supremely effed up person.
Yes, that is true.
Who knows what she's gonna do?
Yeah. All right.
Well, I think that's it for our review for this week. We've caught up on everything.
That's it.
I do think. I mean, at some point, we were supposed to, me and Scarlett at least, do a wrap up of Lazarus, and we didn't because everything got all screwed up with her not being there and you not being there and me losing my computer and everything else. I don't know if and when we're going to do the last 2 episodes. We'll have to figure that out. But on the 4th,
before we go, AJ, do you intend to see The Running Man?
I wasn't planning on going to the theater to see it.
All right. I saw it last night.
How'd you like it?
I recommend that you pay the least amount of money possible to see that movie.
Well, speaking of Stephen King books turned into movies, I did. Artie and I watched The Long Walk the other night. That was really, really good.
That was good?
That was really good.
Well, I was going to say next Thursday, assuming we're still doing the day we had talked about, we're going to be doing Stranger Things. So people can look for the schedule for that. Make sure if you haven't, you joined our Discord. I don't think I pinned the chat thing, but you can get, I do need to actually write the schedule down. I haven't put it on there for a while because I hadn't before, couldn't have my computer. But we'll put the schedule up. Yeah, we'll have Stranger Things coming up. I don't know that we'll have a watch party or anything since they're dropping multiple episodes at a time, but we will be reviewing it. Let's see what else.
Hey,
Artist
just me.
out
Which
on
movie?
their-
I mentioned this to the girls, I think in text message I told you guys. But everybody else out there in whatever the hell in our land in our land of talking to you. Sorry, my brain's not working anymore. The Beast in Me on Netflix with Claire Danes and Matthew Reeves, excellent. I just finished it earlier today. Really, really good. It's 8 episodes, I think. I think 8 episodes. It's really good.
Cool.
All right, good to know.
Yeah, the creator. It's one of the creators of Homeland.
Oh yeah. So just me, you want to go see Running Man. I'm not saying that there's nothing to like about it, or that I personally, I went on discount night. If you want to go, like, by the time you go to a movie and you all buy tickets and you buy the popcorn and the soda and everything, it can be really expensive. And I think The Running Man is not a break the bank kind of movie. And you should maybe go on $7 night at your theater. Or I'm not saying that I didn't have that it's not better than the 1987 version. And Glenn Powell is a likable presence on the screen, and there's a lot more anger in this version than there was in the previous one. I haven't read the book. They say that this version of the movie is much closer to the novel. So I don't mean you shouldn't see it. Just me, and I don't want to discourage you from ever watching it. It's not going to win any Academy Awards. I'll put it that way.
I want to see it just to see if they kept the ending of the novel.
Okay.
She don't know the answer to that because she hasn't read
I don't know.
it, so.
I don't know how the novel ends.
Yeah, no, it's just a comment from me. Not
I did
asking.
say when the movie ended, I did say to my friend, I said, that's sort of a Stephen King-ish kind of ending. So maybe I got it. All right. I got to gear myself up to watch Stranger Things this week.
Stranger Things drops on Thursday. The Artist drops on Thursday. If you guys
I thought it drops tomorrow.
No,
Stranger Things. Everything I saw, it says it's the day before Thanksgiving.
I think it's
Thanksgiving.
I think it's the day before.
Yeah, which would be tomorrow.
I don't know.
Well,
who has time for that? I gotta drive in
at 3 a.m. It might be out. I don't remember so much of it. I gotta watch recaps. I know if you guys look, was it Jen? I don't want to say the wrong person. I think it was Jen. I think I want to say Jen. Wait, let me look and see before I say
that's my AI. When does Stranger Things?
Where the heck is the? I can't find my way through here. Hold on. Schedule community.
Well, also speaking of things coming, in two weeks, Percy Jackson season 2 is back.
November.
Yeah, Jen. It was Jen. Jen posted some Stranger Things recaps in Discord. It's in the self-promo Discord if you guys need a recap, because I need to watch a recap.
It's out. New episodes start tomorrow, which is today.
Yeah.
Already.
It's probably out at 3 a.m. Probably.
Yeah, I guess.
All right.
3 a.m. tonight.
Yeah, that's what I meant. And then also, now that I finally had a working computer, I was able to edit video again. So there's some new interviews up that should have been up before the last Tulsa one, as well as the Tony Dalton one for Trap House and talking about Daredevil and all that. I got to get the article part up, but the videos are up.
So there are 4 episodes of Last of Us tomorrow, or Last of Us, Jesus Christ.
I wish it was The Last of Us.
Stranger Things tomorrow, 3 episodes on Christmas, and 1 episode on New Year's Eve.
That's so
Right.
weird.
So I have to stay off the internet until Friday when I have time to watch this.
All right, guys.
All right. It's time for me to take another pill for my shoulder here. So
yeah, my head's not feeling.
Oh yeah, I forgot you were injured.
Yeah, I'm going to the orthopedist tomorrow. So hopefully I'll have a plan. I have found now that if I take my tramadol with Tylenol and Advil, all of it together in one cocktail, that really works.
I thought you were going to say knockshell.
That loosens things up over here.
Okay, good.
All right, guys. Well, everybody have a good Thanksgiving, and thanks for listening. And we will see you next time. And check out all our interviews. The video tab. Please make sure you like the video and subscribe to Sci-Fi Vision. And yeah, we will see you soon.
All right. Happy
Good night,
Thanksgiving.
all.
Bye.
Good night.